I can deal with the flashes, but I just hate getting naded or getting hit with any type of explosion. It sucks. The ping in this game, Treyarch, it's known, the TTK, it takes a lot longer to kill an enemy. If you have a higher ping, you definitely will notice it in these type of games. Because back in Cold War, when I was using the Krig, I can tell a major difference between 40 ping and 15 to 30 ping. There have been plenty of times in this game already where I shoot someone and I go to the second person and I already thought I killed them, but I didn't. And I don't think people have gotten used to that yet, because the last time we had this TTK was Cold War. Every game since that, you melt people. You just look at them. MW3, there have been plenty of times where you and I are like, I don't know how I got that kill, but I got it.
In this game, it's way more of, how did I not get that kill?
I'd much rather have it this way, where it does take a little bit longer to kill than quick, because you need to hit all your bullets.
Yeah, there's just way more skill involved with this game than there are in previous CODs. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 195 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike.
I'm Justin.
Justin, how's it going, bro?
Doing pretty good, minus stuff that I just told you about, but it's stuff that's out of my control at this point. So it's just it's with the package for people. I'm not keeping everyone out in the dark. Ordered a package like a month ago. It just keeps getting pushed.
Yeah, which is always the worst. And you have no idea. I was telling you before, I hate it when I have to sign off on packages. I can't stand this. I can't stand DHL. They bother me so much because every time I go to get something from them, there's a chance that I may need a signature. There's a chance I don't need a signature. And then they're like, oh, some of them you can go and waive it. And then other times you're not allowed to. So then I go and I'm like, well, man, I'm at work all day. Like, I can't go and run home to go and sign off for this. And then they put their stupid thing. Oh, we missed you.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
And then you have to go to the warehouse or the post office to pick it up.
Yeah, they can't even they don't redirect it to my post office. They bring it to their holding facility, and the
warehouse,
closest
yeah.
one to me, is like 25 miles away. It's like near Boston. So I got to go schlep out there to get something. I hate it.
That's annoying.
But what are you going to do?
That's never happened to me, luckily.
Dude,
but
that happened to me. That was my first time happening, and I try not to order anything from them.
DHL, yeah. I mean, like, it depends whatever it's whatever company you order from.
If it's from Europe.
Oh,
yeah, if it's from Europe, most of the time they do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not using a USPS.
No, bro. I wish they would, though. I'm like, I know it doesn't make sense, but please do.
Yeah.
Get your figured out,
What does suck is we were talking, it's dark out now at like 4:30 in the afternoon. 4:30 Eastern. It's nearly pitch black out.
Yeah, bro. I mean, people can see out my window right now. It's pitch black. I hate this. It's like yesterday and even today still. It's like, man, my body's like not in the rhythm of it. I'm still tired,
Mm-hmm.
Like when 8:30, 9 o'clock rolls around, I'm like, man, I'm feeling it. But it's like that time I'm feeling it. It's 9:30, 10, somewhere around there. My body's just not adjusting to it. But I wake up in the morning like today and it's hella bright out, I'd rather have it the other way around. I don't mind waking up and it's a little dark out as opposed to, like you said, the day just feeling so short, because when I'm driving home, the sun's already setting and it's 3:30. I'm like, dude, what's going on with this bull?
Yeah. Daylight saving sucks.
They need to get rid of this immediately.
Yeah. For everyone that lives in the East Coast, it just sucks. For people out in the West, it doesn't really impact them all that much, but because it's always bright.
Yeah. But dude, I was watching some video on I think it's some Scandinavian countries that are like this, especially to Alaska. Like there's certain times of the year where they only have honestly like 2 to 3 hours of actual daylight and the rest of it is pretty much just darkness. Bro, I don't get how you could live like that and not go insane. I would absolutely hate that. Like talk about people getting like depressed during the winter and stuff. Man, if you live there, you'd have to be so mentally strong to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, you literally need artificial light everywhere you are.
No, seriously, you would need one. You would need, like, light like this,
Yeah.
you know? You can't have, like, the fluorescent, overhead lights. That would just drive you even more crazy, I think.
Yeah. Well, you need the, actually, I think you do need that because that's technically it's daylight,
No,
the
but,
bright
like,
lights.
I'm even trying to think because the lights I've got right now for
Mhm.
my panels, they're like white lights.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're not, like, when I think of that light, I much prefer that warmer light, even though I'm imagining probably what these are, they're more simulating daylight,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know, though.
I like, well, it depends on the time of day. I personally, I hate the warm lights, like, I hate the yellow. That's what I have right now next to me.
Yeah.
Um, like, during the day, I hate it. I want the white lights to sorta simulate, a sunny day, but
Yeah.
during the night, like, I don't mind the warmer yellow lights, but I never use my overhead light
Yeah.
because of the yellow light.
Mm. I didn't even think about that because I always like warmer lights,
Mhm.
um, but during the day, yeah, I could definitely see that where you'd wanna simulate it, you know? At
Mhm.
night, that to me feels cozier at night, having a light
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, the having the white lights during the day, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Be
That's
something to
why
do.
that's why I had, in my old room, like, I had the lights over my desk, and they're
Yeah, yeah,
always
yeah.
white. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just to
No, that makes
stimulate
sense.
it being brighter.
Right, right, right. Yeah. But yeah, man, that shit's been depressing already, though. Just the fact that this was only day 2 of it, and it's just gonna get worse and worse as we get deeper
Mhm.
into winter. So, we're in for it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it, but, um, I will say, though, something I am looking forward to is we've got a lot of Black Ops 6 news. This is, like, our first episode where we've actually got a lot of stuff that's
Mhm.
coming to the game because 'cause we've really just been talking about, like, our multiplayer experience, and then we talked about zombies. I probably, guys should expect next week we'll be talking about the campaign. You and I are fairly close to finishing it.
Mhm.
Um, I I already spoke a little bit about it, and then I know we were texting. You're liking it too, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
It's fire. It's an
Yeah.
amazing campaign.
It's a good campaign. So,
Yeah.
yeah, most likely expect next week to be, the campaign review of it.
Yeah, it doesn't compare to last year's. So the fact that we've got
Yeah.
something here that's actually really good, it's like it's a relief. But the big thing that I think everyone was excited for was two things. One was Nuketown returning. So we got I don't know if it's well, I think it's gonna be in the playlist or just in like the map rotation going forward. Nuketown is back in the whole playlist, which is really nice. And then also the fact that we had double XP across the board, which I was really happy to have this because one thing that we talked about in particular is when we got to like the later levels, when we got to like 46, 48, somewhere around there, the leveling just felt so slow. So I was happy that right at that time is when we finally got blessed with the XP and then we
Mhm.
could just go and finally prestige. Which I believe both of us are first prestige now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank God, bro.
I prestiged last night.
Sweet. We did it, bro.
Yeah.
We're
I mean,
10% there.
dude, 2, 2 weeks, 1 prestige, that's not bad.
I don't think that's that bad. Maybe there's people
That's not
listening
bad.
who are like, "Bro, you guys are
Tech
dog shit." But
Oh, I mean, we're casually playing,
yeah.
man.
I don't yeah, I think that, I think right now in the game, if you're first prestige or you're like, you know, getting into second prestige, but definitely if you're first prestige, you're doing fine. Like you're making good progress. If that's
Mhm.
your goal to be trying to hit that master prestige, 1,000 at some point, I think you'd be doing just fine. If you're in like, even if you're in the 20s and stuff, like you've got time. We're gonna have our ebbs and flows of playing the game,
Mhm.
as the
Well,
whole
that's the
year
thing.
goes on.
We haven't even been on, like, consistently every single day, like,
Yeah.
playing, so it's, you know, 2nd prestige by, 2nd or 1st prestige by the 2nd week. It's not bad since the game came out.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we know plenty of people that are way past us at this point because 'cause they've been grinding it heavily, and they took advantage of double XP, but, um, yeah, I mean, technically, if we keep up this pace, we're mass prestige in 5 months.
Which is crazy to think of.
Yeah, that is like basically 2 prestiges a month if
Yeah.
we just kept up this pace.
Yeah, and it's obviously those early levels that are just so easy, like, they blitz on by,
Mhm,
um, especially now with the double XP, like, having, I don't know, just like 1 or 2 games, well, I say not 1 game, that's not true. 2 to 3 games, and usually can get a level pretty easily when we get up into, like, the 50s and 55s. Um,
mhm,
but I did see a lot of people talking about it and that they were kind of bummed about the double XP. They felt like it wasn't really working that well.
mhm.
Um, there was a couple of times early on I felt that, but I don't know. I didn't really agree with this. You know, I felt like I think leveling up in this game, it just feels all like it's a lot of XP, especially when we
Mhm.
said you get to those later levels. So I felt like, being able to use double XP and get to those in 2 to 3 games was pretty normal. If we had
Yeah.
double XP and it's taken you 5, 6 games to get a level, that's still crazy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, like, again, like, 45 and on, I feel like even with double XP, it took, like, 3 games, 2 to 3 games to get to the next level,
Yeah.
and then 50 on, like, yeah, like, last night when I got to 55, I think I did it in 3.5 games because I backed out as soon as I hit max level and then prestige. But uh, yeah, I mean, I think we're just used to it. I think 2 to 3 games with double XP is fair for
Yeah.
you know uh, when you're at that high of a level. Because in MW3 it was the same thing. Like you and I weren't playing like one game of shipment with double XP. Like we weren't leveling up like one level every single game. I
No,
mean, unless you really popped off, but
yeah, it was pretty crazy to be doing that.
yeah.
Like in this game, again, we're not having those games, like just these absolute takeover games. So when I can do it in 2 to 3 games, or sorry, more 3 games, I don't think that's I don't think that's too crazy.
I think that's
Um,
pretty average, like, compared to MW3. I mean, like, we
right.
did the max level for how long?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, it felt pretty normal to me, but, again, a lot of people haven't, done that many levels over and over.
Right,
Like, what? We went all the way to 1250,
which was ridiculous.
and yeah, that's, nearly 1,200 levels over, at max level,
Yeah.
so
Well, so that's the thing now, doing this 10 prestiges and then, hitting master prestige. I mean, that's an insane grind too.
Mhm,
Um, which it is amazing to think. I can't remember how long it took him to do it. I think I saved it, a screenshot of it because it was unbelievable. Um, seeing that Cult Havoc, he ended
mhm.
up doing it. Yeah, it was nearly 237 hours. It was 236 hours and 52 minutes. He
Solo queuing.
solo
Yeah,
queuing,
yeah,
got master prestige. That is unbelievable, bro.
yeah.
I I can't even fathom that because I know it
Mhm.
was Scump obviously did it with the race with all the other guys. And I don't know how long that took them. I think it took them like I
Took
don't
him 7 days.
yeah,
Yeah,
which is
7 days.
crazy.
Yeah, 24/7.
Yeah. They did it in a week, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's unbelievable, but to think he
Mhm,
did that just solo queuing, it's crazy, and I'm sure
mhm,
he's gonna keep on going because the Optic guys, like, they're not obviously going to 1,000, but
mhm,
knowing Colt Havoc, like, the guy just grinds so much, I'm sure he's just gonna keep playing until ranked comes out, and he'll probably
mhm.
just set it as a goal for himself to hit 1,000,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
yeah. I mean, at this point, he will hit 1,000 just playing normally.
oh, yeah, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's almost impossible for him not to,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. But
Uh,
I do now, like, I'll load into lobbies, I'm like, "This person's 5th prestige already or 6th
dude, I
prestige,"
know.
which is what we were, talking about, before Black Ops 6 came out. Talking about, back in the day when you would load into a lobby and you see those high prestiges, you're like, "What in the world? Like, how are you already this prestige?" And now we're doing exactly that. Like, load in, I'm like, "Holy, this person hasn't left."
Yeah,
Like, they're not doing anything.
dude, it has the weight, and
Mhm,
it just has that importance that it used to have, because I see the same thing. I see these emblems and I'm like, bro, what is that? Like, what prestige are you now? I don't remember any of the prestige icons other than, like, I think 1 through 4.
Mhm.
But then some guy I was playing, he was 6 prestige, and I was like, "Dude," you know? Which,
Yeah.
dude, that's a whole other thing. Why am I getting thrown into a lobby
So
with a
yeah.
guy who's 6 prestige?
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about Nuketown, but bro, we gotta talk about this skill based. This has been a topic around this as of right now. I think it's a hot topic because the skill based in this game is very strong.
Mhm.
It's like, and I think that's kind of partly why you and I at times are just feeling like down in the dumps playing
Yeah.
because it's like, bro, the amount of games that I'll play and I'm just barely going positive. And I'm like, I've been playing like yesterday when I got home, I played for like, I don't know, I was playing for like 2 hours or so, and I was feeling good. And then these
Mhm.
games, it wasn't matching. I was like, bro, am I not good at the game still? Like, what the hell? But then we went and played, and I remember the last game we played, I was popping off, but those guys were awful. Like
Yeah.
they were so bad. I was like, how did we get these guys? But then these other games I'm playing, these guys are gonna be trying out like in the AM league, you know?
Mhm.
It's
Uh,
ridiculous.
I think it's like the combination of having you and I in a party
Mhm.
instead of just us getting thrown into solo queuing. Where like, I mean, granted, if you have two decent players on a team, like it changes the flow of the game. Like obviously, we've said this a lot. Like if you and I are playing together, that's more manageable up going up against like six decent players than one of us and five randos going up against six players. Like super annoying. But yeah, I feel like more people have been playing Black Ops 6 because it's a good game, but that means we're running into more stacks. Because yeah, when I was playing over the weekend, like I was in Nuketown, I look at it, these people are like third and fourth prestige all in a lobby together or in a
Right.
party together. Like I'm cooked. There's no chance.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and some of the guys are good, and then some of
mhm,
them I'm like, "Damn, you just play a lot, you
yeah,
know, but you suck."
yeah, like yesterday.
Yeah, some of those guys
Yeah,
playing, I'm like, "Bro, they're horrendous." They're 3rd, 4th prestige, and I see them
mhm,
in the game, and they're going like, 10 into 22. I was like, "Bro,
mhm.
how could you have put this many days into the game already, and you're that bad?" You know?
Their skill base must be insane. Like yeah, they need to get rid of it. Uh, Granted, I don't think they ever will at this point, but I think eventually, like you and I will, we're not at our peak performance yet with this game,
Right.
but we'll get there, and then it's over.
Right.
Then we'll be hanging. But yeah, trying to level up weapons. Like yesterday, I was using the SWAT for a challenge, and like I'm just getting ripped. Like people using any other AR sub that's good, I'm getting ripped. But like I don't know what to do with that. Like put me in a game with random people, so then I can like somehow get this challenge done.
Well, that's a topic that had come up. People were saying it, and I think it's always been that way in COD, like in just the past recent years, where like yourself, you have to go and use a gun, obviously that you don't like, but then sometimes with the challenges, you have to go and play a certain way and change your
Mhm,
play style. Where you know, I don't really have a problem with that. I think you should have to kind of adapt and do certain things with the gun that may be difficult. But when you're doing it in these lobbies where everyone's using XM4s and using, like the Tonto and just
mhm.
ripping people, it's like, how can you compete? You know?
Yeah, I mean I agree with that too. Like I think uh how do I describe it? I think it. I've always said if you use other weapons and you get good with them, you'll be a really versatile player. So in that argument, if you use a really bad weapon against good players using XM4s, you'll be good no matter what. But it's frustrating. Like I I was using this burst weapon and I was just trying to get kills. That's it. It was hard. But yeah, I don't know. Like part of me, that's why when I first started playing, I just started running and just kept, you know, trying to get kills or whatever, and not really worry about my KD all that much. Normally, like I don't care at all, but in the beginning of the game, you try to have the best game possible because you don't want to jinx yourself.
Mhm.
But if you get like a 1 KD in the beginning, and then the skill base is like, oh, let's throw you in like this bottom pack because technically you're not that good.
Right.
And then it just pays off. I saw people are saying if you want to go for uh, camos, definitely use like the snipers first or like the pistols or whatever, because you're more than likely going to die uh, using those weapons more often, using an AR or sub. And then you'll get put into like the really
Mhm.
bad lobbies. And
Yeah.
then when you're ready to go do the subs and the ARs, it's like you're cooking.
Right. Yeah, because your KD's so deep in the gutter,
Yeah, yeah,
and you're so trash that when you start using a
yeah.
trash AR, it's still like a god gun. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of what most people do, you start off with the ARs and subs, and then you actually get like good at the game, and you're frying, and now you're put into lobbies with, you know, skilled players around, where you are.
Right.
Now you have to use a sniper, and you miss one shot, you're probably dead.
Right.
So
Damn, I didn't even think about that.
yeah,
It's like reverse boosting, but unintentionally,
yeah, it's
you know?
strategic.
Yeah, exactly. It's strategic non-boosting, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something that's always turned me off of doing the camo grinds in Call of Duty because I want to go and try out other guns and obviously unlock some of those camos, but then to think of what I'm going to have to put myself through like regarding those lobbies where I'm going to be stuck using a rocket launcher or using a sniper that I don't care to. That stuff just turns me off. Or it's going to be like, "Oh, you got to go and get 50 headshots or 100 headshots with a sniper rifle." Like,
Mhm.
bro, I just have no desire to go through that suffering in
Yeah.
the game for a camo, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to the people who do, but
Mhm.
bro, I can't get over that.
Mhm. It's it's a lot, trust me. Like I'm not intentionally going for camos or anything. Um, I think I might attempt it for certain weapons. Not gonna say I'm going all the way, but uh, yeah, it's just challenging. Even like trying to get headshots now with regular weapons, it's hard because people
Yeah,
are just moving around so quick.
right.
I do like how now it's just 100 headshots, and then you go and do a couple challenges for the special camos. But yeah, you're like struggling trying to get headshots on this Omni movement.
Yeah, bro, people are side diving me and they want me to go get a headshot on them. I'm like, dude, it's not gonna happen. You know?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even know if there's any guns right now that I currently have at 100 headshots. It might be the XM4, but
hmm
I don't even know if that is one that I have it at. I know there's quite a few that I've got over at 50 or 75.
hmm
Um, but that's just from
yeah,
playing.
yeah. I'm not like intentionally going for them. That's the thing. You can
Yeah,
tell the people that are actually grinding the camos. You're obviously intentionally trying to get headshots,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm not. I'm kind of just playing the game. But I do think going back to the skill base, like they need to get rid of the SBMM in pubs, and then if you want to play competitive, just go to ranked. Like it
right.
doesn't need to be that even.
Yeah, that's what I think they should do because I mean, like playing that Nuketown 24/7 playlist, I plays a little bit of it just to go play Nuketown, but dude, the amount of people that play that map so ratty,
hmm
because of the skill base and just, again, that's how they play. They're like, "Oh, I got to preserve my KD. I want to go,
hmm
38 and 6 on Nuketown. So let me sit up in the window in the house with, I'm going to have, trip mines all over the place." It's like, "Bro, is that
Yeah,
really how you're going to do
like
this?" You know?
when I was playing it over the weekend, it's such a mixed bag. Like you'll go in and you're running around frying, and then the next game, uh, you're loaded in with like a 4 stack that's like third and fourth prestige, and they just cook everyone in the
Right.
lobby, and they just have you spawn trapped. So Nuketown, those playlists right now are the only playlists where you get some randomness. But I feel like I was getting put into more lobbies that where everyone's friends and they just want to run through everyone on this, whereas
Right.
it's just a bunch of random people.
Yeah, and I say too, like talking about Nuketown, I was really happy to play the map. Like I think the map plays great. Um
Mm.
I think Nuketown is just one of those staple maps that you could always throw into a game and it's going to make it better. Especially too this year with the map pool not being so favorable.
Mhm.
Um, I like how they didn't really touch much with it. It still feels good. It still pretty much plays the same. But again, bro, I just hate the way certain people play that game or play that
Mhm.
map. It's some people are, running around, which is fun, and I think it should be chaotic. And then there's the people who just sit up in windows and some of those
Mhm.
games where it's just a stalemate. Like people are in both houses,
Yeah.
standing in the doors or in the garage sniping. It's like I hate
Mhm.
that.
You gotta, best way to do it is just wall bang everything. That's
Yeah,
what I was doing. Just
right.
you can wall bang anything on that map. So, yeah, that's what I was doing.
Everything's made out of cardboard on there, bro.
Yeah, but I do like that they added Nuketown. Again, like, I don't want them to add a bunch of remastered maps and make this whole game remastered, but Nuketown is a good map that, should be in every Treyarch, and it plays good on this map or on this game
Yeah,
because, I mean, this game is kinda like Cold War, People were complaining about the, time to kill on this game and how, all the maps are super small, so the time to kill is just insane with the small maps, but, like, that's Treyarch, you know?
right. Yeah, this is how they roll.
Mhm,
The small map thing is just, you know, I don't know. I prefer smaller maps over having larger maps. And that being said, they say some of these maps like are medium sized, like Red Card. I mean, bro, I think that
mhm,
map is huge. You know,
mhm,
but I think about it though, if I go back and probably played something like, Arklov Peak, or
mhm,
played one of these maps from MW 2019, where those were like really big maps, you know, I think I'd probably change my mind.
mhm,
I'd be like, oh, this map actually is a medium size, but just in the grand scheme of this game, it
mhm.
feels huge, you know?
Yeah, and I think people too are, I mean, they're just upset with the map pool, like, again, these aren't the best maps that Treyarch has ever created, obviously, but I think the big thing is it doesn't feel like a Treyarch maps, like a lot of these maps. People want the 3-lane maps, and a lot of these aren't 3-lane maps. And in MW3, a lot of the maps that we praised were the new maps that they added into the rotation that were all 3-lane maps.
Right,
So,
right.
and obviously Treyarch, they did say they're gonna put in the remastered maps. Like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna add Raid, they're gonna add Yemen, I think, um, Express. So those are all good maps, but hopefully when they add new maps, it's gonna be more of that like 3-lane style. Because I've heard the map pool for competitive at least is it's kind of all over the place. But I'm not gonna complain about some of the maps that we're gonna be watching versus what we were watching in MW3.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Um, and also thinking too, with some of the maps that they've got coming out in the future seasons, like we've already got season one stuff coming out, which is, I mean, it's crazy to think about. I mean, it's
Mhm.
on time with what's to be
Yeah.
expected, but um, just already being back into it. It's going to be on November 14th that we're getting some of the new stuff. I don't know what else they're going to be doing for this season. And I in general don't really know how these seasons are going to work. If they're going to be doing roadmaps like we've done in the past few years, um or they're just going to be, you know, like, kinda just dropping stuff throughout,
Mhm.
Um, because they only just gave us a sneak peek of the maps, and there's gonna be 3 new maps coming. One of them is a 2v2, which, whatever. I'm not really, it's not like I'm dying of anticipation for that one. But the main
Mhm.
ones are gonna be Hideout and Extraction, and people are already jumping on these being like, "Bro, are you fucking kidding me?" You know? Like, because the one of them, which I think is, Extraction looks big.
Mhm.
Like, it's got this, like, helicopter landing pad in the middle of it. Um, you know, it does look quite big. So,
Mhm.
I don't I don't really know what to think about them though. Just from the shots that they've shown of it, I think they both look really good.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm really just for any map that's gonna be added to help strengthen the map pool. Like, I'm not trying to be too judgy with these. I think the more maps that they have, it's gonna be just better for the game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the one downside I think everybody that's complained about this game is just the map pool, where you can argue it is the most important part of the game, but um, arguable, right? Like, I think this game's great. I can deal with most of the maps. I mean, I haven't loaded into a map, I will say, in this game where I'm like, I fucking hate this. Like,
Right.
I'm not playing this. Uh, Granted, it's only been 2 weeks into the game, so maybe I'll feel a different type of way, like months later
Right.
in. But I don't know. Like, I enjoy this game right now. I love the gameplay of it. I feel like I've finally found my shot on this game, and I'm finding like the weapons that I like using. So,
Yeah.
you know, well,
Yeah, no.
we'll see. And I think when rank drops too, I think that's when it's gonna be really fun because you and I are gonna be in that, like, grinding it out and, you know, learning all the maps and hard points and things like that.
Yeah, and with the skill base, bro, that's where sometimes I'm playing and I'm thinking about I'm already getting, like, ahead of myself. I think about ranked and I'm like, "Bro, I'm gonna get had." Like, when I'm trying to play some
Mhm,
of these people, but then I'm wondering, I'm like, "Dude, are these the guys who are gonna be the Crim 2s, the Crim 3s?" You know? Because
mhm,
if that's how it is, I'm like, fair play to them. Those guys are
mhm.
insane already at the game. Um, but
But
I
also,
agree with
you
you.
gotta think it's only 4 people on the map, not 6.
Exactly,
Like,
that's
that
another
that
part of it too,
just
you know? And
changes
the
the map
maps
completely.
and the guns that we're using too, all that
Mhm,
stuff, and the freaking, perks that they're using. Like, all that stuff's gonna definitely have its play. Um, but no, I think I've gotten actually, I don't think, I know I've gotten better at this game. It's like every week that we're gonna be talking about this, it's just gonna be the small improvements. Um,
mhm,
I did do some setting changes to my game, and it has helped quite a bit. Um, I don't get into like the dead zone stuff. I think that stuff to me is just like I've never touched that in Call of Duty, and unless it's
mhm,
some major issue, I'll go and look at it. But some little things I hadn't done, like I don't play well with vibration on my controller when I'm playing COD, but I had my
mhm,
vibration on this, and I was watching a video. I think it was Crowder. I was watching his video talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, dude, why do I have that on?" Because I think back, I'm like, "Dude, every Call of Duty, I turn that off." But sometimes this stuff just slips my mind,
mhm,
like I don't even think about it. Um, and just, a couple little smaller things that it's definitely helped. Could for sure be placebo. Um, it hasn't turned me into a god or anything, but I think it's just made it like a little bit more balanced for me.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, slowly but surely getting there, and I'm with you too on some of the maps, I feel like, I don't like red card, but then it upsets me because I go and I play that map and then I do alright on it, you know?
mhm.
Like, I'm
Yeah,
I'm never
it's
playing the map just doing horrendous.
it's just a I don't know. I think it's a groove that you gotta hit on, like, a lot of these maps, and yeah. I mean, some people clearly they've been grinding the game, so I'd hope after, your 3rd, 4th prestige, like, you have it locked down what you really like and how you play the game, that play style, but, um, you know, it's gonna take time for us to figure out what we like to do and things like that, and, when ranked comes out, like you said, I'm already starting to think, "Alright, maybe, like, how do we set up here?" But you gotta take into account, like, these are all small maps technically, and we got 6 people running around. It's gonna feel so different with 4 people on the map. It'll feel quick, but it's not gonna be like you get a kill and you immediately die after, you know? Obviously, there's gonna be trades and stuff. It's gonna feel a lot quicker than MW3, but so an extra 2 people on the or no, an extra 4 people on the map technically, changes the map a lot.
Oh, big
So,
time. Yeah, and, I mean, we've played a bit of, Hardpoint and Control. Control feels solid on this game. Um,
mhm,
Granted, the map pool that we've, had for it hasn't really been that big. Um, but I like playing Control on this. The mode we haven't played at all is Search,
yeah,
which that's one that I'm curious about because this game is so fast. So then
Mhm.
having to play so slow and methodical, I think that's honestly it's gonna benefit us a lot because that's we were sprinting all the time, and
Mhm.
that's why I think we've struggled with like the KD. Um, but having to force yourself to play a lot slower and really think, and position and search, I think it'll lend itself into playing respawns. But from what I've seen of search on this game, it looks really cool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't even touched search because, well, that's mainly because it's XP. Like we've just
Yeah.
been playing respawn.
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't know, maybe tonight we can do more control. But I know a lot of pros and people that like competitive hate control and they just want it completely out of the game. We still like control. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
it's we enjoy it. We're probably the very few that enjoy control. Like people hate that game mode.
Yeah,
Um,
and I don't really get why. I think control is just always like it's always a go-to. I don't know what people want in place of it, like watching capture the flag. Is that what it
yeah.
would be? Like, I get it. It's weird. When I play it, I like playing control over something like capture the flag. But if
Mhm.
I were to watch a game, capture the flag probably be more interesting for me, than
Yeah,
CDL.
I think it's just, control back in Blackouts 4, that was a new game mode that everybody that Treyarch introduced, right? And everyone loved it. And it was very different, right? It was 5v5 and competitive. So, and they had operators that had abilities that made it look really cool. And ever since then, we've got control where it got slapped onto maps that weren't made for control. This game was obviously it was designed for or the maps were designed for control, but it's 4v4, not 5v5, and you don't have, the insane operators, but like we still enjoy it. Um, I'm pretty sure it's still gonna be in competitive. And I know a lot of people aren't a fan of that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. You can't complain about it. There's bigger things that they gotta worry about with the game than, like, what they play for control or if they,
Mhm.
add and capture the flag or anything. Um, because they're putting out, like it's our first big group of, patches or, like, the main patch that I think it's coming out to the day recording on the 4th, um, which reminds me, after we wrap this up, we gotta go on there because I don't know if this is gonna be something that they're just like, "Update requires restart," or it's
Mhm.
like, oh, you gotta go download this update, and it's like, 12 gigs or something like that, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
it's like sitting in the queue waiting for an hour. Um, but they did do a good amount of updates. It's the biggest one they've done so far because there was a lot of issues that people were having with the game. We had talked about some of them, like, some small things such as I think it was the, custom class glitch that still have that. And then like the editing
Mhm.
situation, like being able to actually, go into the gunsmith. Um, but there were also big quality of life things too. Like I hadn't talked about this, and I know we hadn't at all, but the flashes in this game have become notorious because they're so freaking bright and they last so long, and
Mhm.
that's mainly the thing is this the duration of them is ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
That's why people were doing that scoreboard glitch where you could just click in on and view the scoreboard, and you could see through a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, I believe they're nerfing that, and then they're doing some buffs and nerfs to subs and ARs, which is not really too surprising. Um, I don't know from the notes here because I couldn't. I actually am curious if they go into the specifics for guns. Yeah, they didn't really do too much on these like yeah on the like shotgun. They're talking about shotguns. They don't talk anything about like ARs to a great
Like
extent.
weapon. Yeah. I mean, like the nerfs and buffs, those I mean, that comes with every COD. So I expect that. And honestly, I don't remember though, like someone can call me out on it, but the nerfs and buffs in recent CODs, it does tweak most weapons like a little bit, but I don't the last weapon I truly remember that got nerfed to the fucking ground was uh like in Black Ops 4 when they nerfed the Maddox. And that gun was still really, really good. But when they nerfed that thing, there was a huge difference in it. I feel like in the most recent years, there wasn't a weapon where it got nerfed and it completely chalked up the entire weapon that I remember.
Right.
Um, Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, like, I remember back in Cold War, they nerfed the XM4, and they said, "Oh, this gun's, like, awful," and then that AR's still insane. Uh,
Dude, nothing will
so I don't
compare
know.
though to the Black Ops 3 Vesper nerf.
Yeah,
That was
that was
one of the
shocked to the ground.
bro, yeah, they buried that thing like 6 feet under. It was unbelievable. That was a god gun, and then it
Mhm.
just literally became worthless, you know?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Some of these, they say they're gonna go and tweak them. Like, just reading through this, they said they were gonna go and decrease what did they say here? So I can just actually say it specifically. Um, what was it? They are, yeah, for ARs, we are pulling in minimum damage ranges and lessening the impact of headshots at close range. SMGs are receiving damage range increases to improve their mid-range effectiveness. Tell that to the Tonto, bro. That thing cooks cross map. But
Yeah.
certain things like the XM4, I mean, bro, you could sometimes win. Well, I say sometimes, a lot of times you could win a 1v1 against a sub up close with
Mhm.
that gun, which is just, I think that's completely ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, all these nerfs and buffs, like, for the ARs, you shouldn't win close range gunfights all the time
Yeah,
against a sub. Same sub, vice versa. Like, this is stuff that I think anyone that plays COD should expect. But in this game too, though, I don't think people are taking into account the ping in this game, where Treyarch, it's known the TTK, it takes a lot longer to kill an enemy.
yeah,
If you have a higher ping, you definitely will notice it in these type of games, like 100%. Because back in Cold War, when I was using the Craig, I can tell a major difference between like 40 ping and 15 to 30 ping. And that's
right,
not even like exaggerating. And I don't get into, specific details like that in like especially my settings and then ping stuff like that. But there's a major difference.
yeah. There
Uh,
absolutely is.
and you just have to take that into account. Like I always look at my ping when I was playing on Nuketown and I'm like, how did that person not die? My ping's at like 40
Yeah,
or 35. I'm like, okay, if my ping was 5 less, my bullets would have killed. There
right.
have been plenty of times in this game already where I shoot someone and I go to the second person and I already thought I killed them, but I didn't just because ping.
Yeah,
And that's just something that you eventually get used to in the game. But I remember that happening to me in Cold War all the time with the Krig.
yeah,
Especially if you use an AR all the time, you know how many bullets it takes to kill someone from range.
right.
And then you stop shooting. You just know. But yeah, it's weird. I don't think people have gotten used to that yet because the last time we had this TTK was Cold War. Like every game since that, like you melt people. You just look at them.
Right.
And MW3, there have been plenty of times where you and I are like, I don't know how I got that kill, but I got it.
Yeah, in this game, it's way more of how did I not get that kill?
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of what I get on this.
Which,
Um,
yeah, I'd much rather have it this way where it does take a little bit longer to kill than quick because you need to hit all your bullets. Like you don't get that. I'm like stretching it here, but you don't get those moments where like you miss a few bullets or someone's shooting you and they miss a few bullets and you try to snap on them and they just destroy you.
yeah,
You know, like you don't get that random cheese, the luck of some of these players.
right. There's yeah, there's just way more skill involved with this game than there are in previous CODs, like, if you're gonna be
Mhm,
able to pull off a clip, where you're gonna hit 3 or 4 guys, there's not gonna be a lot of, like you're saying, a lot of cheese that goes along with it, like,
mhm.
unless they're, all of them are, like, one shot,
Yeah.
but, yeah, I've had a couple of those, even when I just get 2 or 3 kills in a row sometimes, like, back to back, it feels amazing because I know I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, dude, I'm so snappy," like, I hit every single bullet that I shot connected
Mhm.
with that guy, where sometimes I'm hitting these shots and I'm, like, swaying left and right, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Jesus Christ, dude." I'm
Yeah.
like, "I gotta figure it out here."
And you're
You know?
looking at, your bullet mag. Like, when
Yeah.
you kill 2 or 3 guys, you're down to a couple bullets. You're like, "Okay, you have to hit all these bullets
Yeah.
into these guys," and yeah,
I measure it out sometimes, I'm like, "I got 9 bullets." I'm like, "Could I
you can
pull
that's
that
enough.
off?" I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
But
from distance, like, you gotta, like,
yeah,
pick
I'm
them
like,
out a
oh yeah, I
little bit.
pick my battles.
Yeah,
I'm like, ah,
yeah.
bro, my shot's not that good. I'm like, I don't
Mhm.
have that thing to help with my idle sway. Like, bro, I'll
Yeah.
be messed up if I try to make this shot. Um, but going through some of this, there's a couple of cool things that they are adding. Well, one thing that we talked about, and it's funny, we're just kind of going against it. We were like, oh man, the XP rate at which we earn isn't really that bad. They said they're going to increase that weapon XP earn rates and player XP earn rates. They said across the following modes. They said TDM, control, search, and gunfight.
Okay.
So I'm like,
So,
okay,
that's probably just because in those game modes, you're notorious for not getting that much XP out of those because it's not that I mean, it is objective based for some of them, but, like TDM, you're just running around getting kills.
right.
So that's not the best way to get, XP, but, like, I have that thrown into the rotation because I think TDM's a very good game mode to shut your brain off and just go hunt and get kills as
Yeah,
fast as you can.
dude, TDM is just the old standby. It's always a
Mhm.
good mode to be playing, and it's always a good one to just get your shot up and like, yeah, again, it's not the best for XP, but dude, it's the easiest one to play.
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't have to think at all. You could just run around, and just, get the kills and that's it. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, the XP is not ideal. Search can be insane for XP if you're like popping off, but if you only get like, 2 or 3 kills, it's kind of worthless. It's not really the best.
Yeah.
Um, But the main thing I wanted to kind of wrap up on from this whole thing is, dude, I use this a little bit and I see why I was getting cooked. I always have an excuse in my back pocket. Bro, this recon combat specialty thing, so
Mhm.
they are gonna nerf this, not probably nerf it into the ground, but it says a reduced duration that enemies are highlighted after spawning for to 1.5 seconds from 2 seconds. So just half a second, and an additional reduction will be coming before season 1. So yeah, it's like yeah, 2 seconds is insane. And this has also
Mhm.
resolved an issue that allowed players to activate recon combat specialty by changing loadouts. I don't know about that, but I mean, I'm assuming that maybe you could just go and constantly have it when you were changing loadout in the middle of a game. Like, I'm
Mhm.
assuming that's what they're saying from that. Um, I didn't know anything about that. I just knew that when I would go and play Nuketown or play on some of these small maps, it was ridiculous how much. I mean, you could just, like I said, it was walls. You could see through the
Yeah, yeah.
all the walls, and it was long enough that you could get off a spawn, especially on a small map. You could run off spawn, and you could pretty much have a good idea of like a route to hit or what to expect when you're going there, which is ridiculous. I can't believe
Yeah.
that that is even like a specialty perk. Just getting
Yeah.
casual wall hacks.
Well,
Um,
I wanna point out with it because 'cause I've used it. Like, we've
talk
always
like the
had
bad
something like
people. I've
well,
used it, bro.
we've all we've had we've had this in COD before, like, in a lot of CODs where you get these walls and you can see where people are. The problem is the small maps. That's the
Yeah,
problem. Like, all these maps are tiny, so it's, like, a bigger of an impact when because you spawn in, dude, it takes 2 seconds to get into a gunfight. Like, you're probably in, like, 2 or 3 already on all these maps.
right.
So, the fact that it's 2 seconds and you can already anticipate where someone's, like, coming to get you, it's insane. Especially for, players like us where, like, we die in a certain area. Oh, we know this person's probably gonna go to this area. Now we know for sure they're going to this area, you know? Whereas I'll use an example on Rust. People will get killed from the top and they just keep walking out and not even trying to kill that person up top for whatever reason. Um, so yeah, I think the 2 seconds for these maps is way too long. Honestly, it probably should be cut down to like a second with the size of these maps. Like, I don't think 2 seconds would be that long it if these maps were the size of like the MW3 maps, slightly bigger, or if it was like Red Card or what's the map? Vorkuta?
Yeah.
Not Vorkuta. Is it
The snow map?
Vorkuta? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like that map's big enough where you'll see them, but. I think on the majority of the map. So this thing is insane.
Yeah, no, you're right. And yeah, we have had it before, but again, it just the impact wasn't felt like it is now.
Mhm,
People are just blatantly using this. I want to say they're blatantly using it. It's just that it is what it is. You have it for so long that when you go off spawn and you're hauling,
mhm.
it's like you're right into a gunfight, and you could already see where it's going to happen and how it's going to happen.
Yeah,
Um,
you're already prepped.
yeah, right. And yeah, the 2 seconds is just too long. They said they're gonna lower it before then even, from
Mhm,
it's at 1.5, it's gonna be at that. I think a second is more than enough. I think anything
mhm,
more than that, like, it's just up there, and now you can start seeing their paths as to what they're
mhm,
gonna do. It's just way too much, you know? So I'm glad to see that getting taken down. Um, but I heard people complaining about it, and then when I was playing last night, I started to watch the kill cams, and I realized how many people are actually using this, and I was like, "Jesus
mhm.
Christ," you know? I'm like, "No
Yeah.
wonder I'm getting fried, bro."
Well, like, it's literally everybody in the game just dies so much. Like, if you're using it, you're constantly dying over and over. Like, you
Right.
get kill one, die, kill another one, die. And then you'll just always see where people are. But
Yeah.
then, the people with high KDs or whatever, they're not dying as much, so it doesn't really benefit them. But for the majority of players on these maps, you're kind of just getting a kill and dying. So you just kind of constantly have it.
Right. Because what you just said before having it back in, older CODs, I remember Vision Pulse, but
Yeah.
that obviously was different. It was a specialty perk that well, say specialty perk, but it was, like, on a regen. Like, you could only get that maybe, I would say, once or twice a game, you know?
Mhm.
And then if you died with it, you'd lose it, and then you'd have to go and re-earn it, you know? You
Yeah.
said it's just the frequency of earning this is what the real problem is.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say Recon's like in a better version of, I think it's called Seeker,
yeah,
whatever, the one with the footsteps, where like when you respawn, you can see people's footsteps.
right.
So
And it's
yeah.
having that like, all those perks in order to even get recon, having all of those stacked on top of each other, it's just like an elite combo, you
Hmm.
know? It's like you can just see everything or have a really good idea of what's going on in the map at all times,
Hmm.
and it's a bit BS. I don't like
Yeah.
when there's a perk like that that's just completely broken and then it makes everything else obsolete, you know?
Hmm.
Um Though that being said, I do like this whole like specialty perk thing that they have. I think it is cool. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, they just got to balance it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I like the perk system in this. I like how in this game you really have to pick and choose what perks you want. Like if you want to do the specialty wildcard or whatever,
Right.
then you have to stay in this tier. But I like how I have to really decide between, do I want flak jacket or do I want tactical mask, whatever it
Right.
is in this game.
Right.
And I will always choose flak, even though the flashes in this are god awful. But I hate getting naded more than getting flashbanged or
Yeah. I'm
concussion.
I'm in the same boat. I always use flak. I think it's
Mhm,
just like it's a necessity in this game. But we'll see how bad it is once they go and they patch the stuns or the flashes rather, and seeing
mhm,
how strong it is without it. Because if it's not that bad, then screw it. But if it's still bad, then I might have to switch over to tack and be
mhm.
like, "Bro, I can't do this. I can't be playing this game with just a white light blinding me and making my vision even worse," you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They have that. That was a setting for the inverted flashbangs,
Yeah,
but I've tried that. It's just weird. I can't get used to it.
yeah,
But the problem that you said is the duration of the flash. It just takes forever,
right.
and I can deal with the flashes, but I don't know. I just hate getting naded or getting hit with any type of explosion. It sucks.
Yeah,
And I know with my play style too, with the flak, it's either I'm sticking back with an AR and someone can nade me just out of nowhere, or I'm running a sub and I'm just hitting the hill with not a care in the world. I could hit a mine, a claymore, like nade, semtexes. I'm going to be in the mix. So, hey, you could argue that too with attack, but uh, at least if I get flashed or stunned, I sort of have a chance. Like, I can just
Right.
shoot at least and maybe get a kill.
Yeah.
If I run to the hill and I get naded immediately, I'm pissed. Like, are you
Oh,
kidding
yeah,
me?
and that happens to me all the time. It's just like, I throw the trophy up and then I get, like, damaged from the trophy slightly, and then, someone throws another nade or whatever. It's like I just run off the hill, God forbid, get away from my trophy for, like, 10 seconds. Yeah, I get naded and it pisses me off so much, you know? But it is what it is, I again, having flak thankfully it isn't that bad, I can't have recon, but hopefully they nerf this thing enough where it's not too bad or, well, it's not too big of a problem, and then, it'll have everything else a bit more balanced,
Mhm.
but we'll see. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it we had, covered that we wanted to talk about. I mean, again, the season 1, which can be exciting, just seeing those new maps, um and I'm curious to see what else comes with it. Again, we'll definitely be covering that. I guess probably just we'll see maybe sometime this week or well, obviously before the 14th, we'll get some more news as to what they're going to be including in there. If there's going to be any zombie stuff or any
Mhm.
new guns or modes that they're going to throw in there. Um, and then yeah, this patch that they put out. I mean, damn, we'll go make some food and then we'll go try it out and
Yeah.
see if there's any big changes there. I'll go
Yeah.
get flash and I'll be like, "Oh, bro, it's not that bad." Or I'm like, "This shit still
They didn't
sucks."
change.
Yeah,
They
like they
changed
didn't do
nothing.
anything,
Yeah.
you know.
Um, yeah, and, well, yeah, we'll probably talk about it in the next, like, 2 episodes because yeah, next one, we definitely wanna talk about the campaign.
Yep.
Uh, and also too, like, you and I, this is a good thing, we have too many options. We gotta play zombies together because we haven't played zombies
Right.
together yet.
We haven't played.
Uh, yeah, like, at all. So, um, yeah, it'll be interesting. And
Yeah.
then, like, I think we can wrap it up on a little bit of, like, CDL stuff.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
we haven't really talked about it, but they leaked sorta official the majors,
Hmm.
the locations of the majors. So major 1 supposed to be in Barcelona, which is insane. The abroad, which I think that's awesome for, the people in Europe finally, like, they get their CDL matches because, everyone here in the US obviously has been spoiled. Um, and I guess Toronto is hosting that, which is interesting because it seems like the CDL is like, if you guys want to host at this point, host it.
Right.
We
Right.
don't care. Which honestly, I don't have a problem with that as long as there's majors and stuff. Doesn't matter to me. The more COD, the better. Um, and we'll talk about more as like the season starts like coming because I think it's supposed to start in December, and the format is changing like a little bit. I think there's more like online qualifiers and like mini majors, I guess, before these majors happening. So
Hmm.
we'll see how that goes. It is kind of a shame though that with how good this game is, the hype of the CDL and like a lot of things that have happened behind closed doors is impacting it right now.
Big time.
Where I think this game could have done really, really well at like peak CDL viewership.
Right.
So we'll see how it is. But yeah, like sadly, we're not gonna get like an East Coast event, which I think most people kind of expected, especially you and I as Boston fans. But apparently, they're going to Chicago, which is, I guess, the closest to us. Um, I don't know when that major is going to be. It's probably going to be like during the summer. I think that's or towards the summer at least. I think that was like major 3 or 4.
Yeah, bro. Can you imagine if they did that in February in Chicago, bro?
Yeah,
Legit
well,
would die. Would
that's
die
what people
of
complained
yeah,
about
bro.
Boston.
Yeah, you can't do anything, like, relatively close to the East Coast or,
Mhm,
like, let's say with Chicago being, like, kind of almost Midwest, like, realm, you
mhm.
can't do that during the winter, you'll die.
Yeah. I want to say so the locations are Barcelona, Chicago, Fort Lauderdale, Champs is at Toronto, which I think that's interesting. So I wonder if it's going to be like another hosted by Toronto, but it's
Right,
Champs.
and then
Which
watch Toronto win that, and then there's gonna be a whole controversy
yeah, it's
about
going
it,
to be
you
biased.
know?
Yeah.
Exactly. Just like there was with
Where
the Optic one.
I think it doesn't matter at this point. Like the teams,
I don't think it matters either.
Like whatever team is willing to put up the money to host an event, I think we all should be happy about it.
Exactly. That's how I feel.
You know?
You know, we should just be thankful. But it is
Yeah.
cool, like you said, that we are having that one at Barcelona. I just find that so hard to believe
Mhm.
because it's been so long. I mean, it was really MW 2019 was the first time that we ever even had an event in England. Um,
Mhm.
it's been a long time that we've had a
Yeah, since the
European
CDL.
event. Yeah.
Mhm.
So to think that that is the rumor is pretty crazy.
Mhm.
Um, I wonder how many people are gonna be psyched about it, and then if there's gonna be people who are gonna be complaining about the travel and the time and all this stuff. If they are, I'm like, "Bro, you get paid to play Call of Duty and go to
Yeah.
Spain. Like, don't even start."
Yeah. And also the people in Europe too finally get a major
Yeah,
in
right?
5 years,
Yeah,
like
seriously.
they they should have that. And also the people too complaining going to Barcelona, you're fucking going to Spain. Like make it a
Yeah.
trip,
Yeah, I mean,
like
exactly, dude.
we've been spoiled here. And also you got Chicago that people are going to, and then the other one is the Optic,
Yeah.
Texas. Yeah, like they're gonna be hosting a major. So
What which we'll have to think about going to that one.
I know, we do. I don't know what the order is. I want to say the second major's optics major. But if not, if we can't go to that one, we might have to think about Chicago or champs because
Ooh.
Toronto and Chicago are the closest to us
Yeah.
technically.
I would
Um,
definitely be down for Chicago.
yeah, I would too, as long as it's not in the
Yeah,
February
go go to
or
Portillo's,
March.
bro, do the
Yeah,
whole deal. It would be
hmm
a good time for sure.
or
Um,
Toronto. I mean, I've never been to Toronto. About so
yeah, no, Toronto would be good too. I just gotta make sure my, passport's still good.
yeah, but well, I mean, we'll figure that out. I don't again like all these aren't even confirmed yet or
Right.
anything. We just got to wait for the CDL to officially announce everything.
Yeah,
But
and then we'll be good.
and also too, like this year we were supposed to have a North Carolina major. That shit didn't happen.
Right,
So
right.
we just we just don't know. Like all this could be like pulled out under us again.
Yeah, and that's just it's kind of unfortunate. That's the way the CDL is right now, but, I know that, like, a lot of those leaks that you were saying, they do come from very reputable sources, so I do
Mhm.
tend to believe that they will happen, um,
Yeah,
but we just need the official dates, and then we'll be there.
yeah. Official notice is official. So
Exactly.
I want to see
I
that.
need it from the
And
CDL.
also too, I was really looking forward to going to the North Carolina one, and then they pulled it from us. So
Right,
you just again, you never know at this point.
right,
I think
right,
the only one you can say for sure is the optic event.
right.
You know,
That yeah, exactly. That
you
and champs just being an actual event that they're gonna hold. That's
yeah.
pretty much it, you know? But yeah, no, it's cool stuff. I mean, with the CDL, it's kind of in a weird limbo right now. Like some of the teams have been announced, but we'll make sure to be announcing more of that stuff as it comes, and then hopefully, as we get closer to that, to the start of the CDL, then we'll definitely get an official announcement from them, and then we could share that because it will be dope. You know,
Mhm. Yeah, and we got a good game finally
thank God, thank
that all
God.
these guys are playing on and that we're playing on. So
Yeah.
and ranked will be coming out at the same time too. So
So not much to be complained about. We're doing good.
yeah, exactly. We got a lot to talk about.
Exactly. But yeah, bro, I think that does it, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. So again, everybody, thank you for listening to this episode number 195, the COD Casuals. Be sure to go to anchor.fm/COD Casuals. We're on all streaming platforms. If you don't want to listen to the full episode, be sure to go to our Instagram and TikTok. And then of course go into the YouTube, comment, like, subscribe over there. We appreciate it. And then if you want to just keep in touch with us, be sure to go to Twitter or X and give us a follow there. We're active there all the time. And then of course, 5-star ratings, as always. So we
Only.
appreciate. Yeah, 5 stars only. We're on our way to being the number one COD podcast on planet Earth.
Mhm.
Number one podcast, period, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that does it, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. So again, everybody, thank you for listening to episode number 195 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike,
I'm Justin.
and we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.